Welcome back, coin collectors and history lovers. In today's video, we're diving deep into the fascinating world of Australian currency. Focusing on a small but significant piece of history, the 1967 Australian 10-cent coin. This coin may seem like an ordinary piece of change at first glance, but it actually holds a rich story tied to Australia's transition to decimal currency, and it may even carry more value today than its face suggests. So grab your coin box, settle in, and let's explore just how much this iconic coin is worth in today's market, especially if it's in good condition, or better yet, let's begin with the background. The 10-cent coin from 1967 was released just 1 year after Australia made the historic switch from the old imperial pound system to the new decimal system in 1966. That this shift was a monumental change for the country, and the coins minted during the early decimal years are considered historically important by collectors and numismatists alike. The 1967 10-cent coin is made from copper-nickel, a durable blend of copper and nickel that gives it a bright silver appearance. It has a diameter of 23.6 millimeters and a weight of 5.65 grams, the same size and composition still used for Australian 10-cent coins today, which adds to its familiarity. But what truly sets this coin apart is its beautiful design. On the obverse or head side, you'll see the elegant portrait of a young Queen Elizabeth II, designed by British sculptor Arnold Machin. This effigy was used on Australian coins from 1966 to 1984, and it's a beloved design among collectors because of its regal and youthful representation of the Queen. On the reverse side of the coin, we find one of the most iconic images in Australian coinage, the lyrebird. This native Australian bird is known for its incredible ability to mimic sounds, and the coin's reverse design by Stuart Devlin captures it in intricate detail, tail feathers spread wide in a magnificent display. Devlin, who later became the official goldsmith to the Queen, was responsible for designing many of Australia's decimal coins, and his work on the 10-cent piece remains a favorite. Now let's talk about the mintage and rarity. In 1967, approximately 26.6 million of these 10-cent coins were produced by the Royal Australian Mint in Canberra. That's a fairly large mintage, which means the coin isn't considered rare in circulated condition. However, coins from this year are still highly collectible, especially for those building complete year sets or interested in early decimal coinage. The sheer age of the coin, now over 55 years old, also means that fewer high-quality specimens have survived, making good condition examples increasingly sought after. While the 1967 10-cent coin doesn't have a mint mark, as all were struck in the same mint, it's still worth closely inspecting any coin you find for potential errors or unique features. So what should you look for when evaluating a 1967 10-cent coin? First, check the condition. This is one of the most important factors in determining value. If the coin is heavily worn, with smoothed down details and scratches, it will likely be worth only its face value or slightly more, maybe $0, 10 to 30 cents USD. However, if the coin is in good condition, meaning the design is still clear and the Queen's portrait and the lyrebird have maintained decent detail, the coin may be worth around $1 to $3 depending on the buyer. Coins in very fine to extremely fine condition, those with only light signs of wear, may reach values of $4 to $6, particularly if sold to collectors who are looking for high-grade decimal coins from the 1960s. But the most valuable versions of this coin are those in uncirculated or mint state condition. These coins have never been used in general circulation and retain their original shine, crisp detail, and full design. If your coin looks like it just came off the press, no scratches, no dullness, no finger marks, you might be holding something much more valuable. Professionally graded uncirculated 1967 10-cent coins, especially those with a grade of MS65 or higher, have been known to sell for $10 to $40, depending on the market and demand at the time of sale. That on rare occasions, a high-grade coin in pristine condition with collector appeal might even go for more at auction or among serious numismatists. It's also worth mentioning that while there are no widely recognized minting errors from the 1967 10-cent coin, any coin with noticeable abnormalities, such as an off-center strike, die cracks, or doubling on the lettering, can be worth significantly more than a standard coin. These error coins are rare and are often valued based on the uniqueness and severity of the error, sometimes reaching $50 or higher if confirmed by professional grading services. So don't throw out that old coin without a second look. In summary, while the 1967 Australian 10-cent coin may be common in lower grades, it becomes increasingly valuable as the condition improves. Coins in good to very fine condition can fetch a few dollars, and high-grade uncirculated examples can reach into the tens of dollars. For collectors, this coin represents an affordable and attractive piece of Australian history, a symbol of the nation's transition to modern currency, and a design that still stands out more than 5 decades later. Whether you're just starting your coin collection or you've been at it for years, the 1967 10-cent coin is definitely a coin to appreciate and possibly invest in. Next up, the 1980 Australian 10-cent coin. This little silver-colored piece of metal has been part of Australia's currency for decades. And many people don't realize that coins like this one could be worth more than their face value, especially if they're in good condition. So, how much is the 1980 Australian 10-cent coin worth today, and what makes it special? Stick around, because we're diving deep into everything you need to know. Let's start with the basics. The 10-cent coin from 1980 is part of Australia's long-running decimal coin series, introduced in 1966. By 1980, the decimal system was well established, and the Royal Australian Mint continued to produce these coins in large numbers to meet the needs of everyday commerce. The coin is made from copper nickel, a durable and bright alloy that consists of 75% copper and 25% nickel. It weighs 5.65 grams, has a diameter of 23.6 millimeters, and features a milled edge. This design has remained unchanged for decades, a testament to its classic and widely appreciated look. On the obverse side, or what many refer to as the head side, we see the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, facing right. The version of the Queen's portrait used in 1980 was designed by Arnold Mackin, and it had been featured on Australian coins since the start of decimal currency in 1966. It shows the Queen wearing a royal tiara, and it's a familiar and respectful image that carries a sense of tradition and continuity. Flip the coin over, and on the reverse side, we find the famous lyrebird, an iconic Australian creature known for its extraordinary ability to mimic sounds. This elegant design by Stuart Devlin has become a staple of Australian coinage, and is widely admired for its detail and artistry. The lyrebird is shown with its tail feathers fanned out in a stunning display, making this one of the most attractive reverse designs in Australian coin history. Now let's get into the numbers. In the year 1980, the Royal Australian Mint struck a staggering 73.2 million 10-cent coins for circulation. That makes this coin quite common in lower grades and circulated condition. However, when it comes to collecting coins, rarity isn't the only thing that matters. Condition plays a huge role in value. So let's break it down to if your 1980 10-cent coin is heavily worn, with faded features and scratches from years of use. It will likely only be worth its face value, around 10 cents USD. That said, if your coin is in good condition, meaning the details on both the Queen's portrait and the lyrebird are still clearly visible, and the coin has retained some of its original luster, then it may be worth around $0.50 to $1 to the right buyer. But if your coin is in very fine or extremely fine condition, with minimal signs of wear and most of the original details intact, you could be looking at a value between $1 to $3. And the real winners are those with coins in uncirculated or mint state condition, coins that have never been used in day-to-day transactions and still shine brightly with sharp edges and immaculate details. These coins, especially if graded professionally and given a high rating like MS64 or MS65, can fetch $5 to $15, or even more depending on market interest. Collectors are always hunting for pristine examples of common coins because they complete sets and stand out in any collection. It's also worth noting that no special mint marks or varieties were officially recorded for the 1980 10-cent coin, but like all coins, it's always a good idea to inspect yours closely. Look for any minting errors, such as off-center strikes, doubling of the letters or numbers, or die cracks. These kinds of errors can turn a regular coin into a rare collectible, and error coins often sell for $20, $50, or even more depending on their rarity and appeal. So, is the 1980 Australian 10-cent coin rare? Not in general. There are millions in existence. But if yours is in great condition or has a unique feature, it could definitely be worth more than you think. Plus, coins from this era are increasingly being collected by younger generations and international numismatists, which keeps the demand alive. Whether you're just starting your coin collecting journey or you've been stacking silver and copper nickel coins for years, the 1980 10-cent coin is a great addition to any collection, easy to find, beautifully designed, and a solid example of Australian currency during the later years of the 20th century. So there you have it. The 1980 Australian 10-cent coin may be common, but its value depends heavily on condition and eye appeal. A coin that once sat quietly in a pocket or purse could now be worth a few dollars, especially if it's been well preserved. Next up, the 2011 Australian 10-cent coin. At first glance, it might seem like an ordinary piece of pocket change, but there's more to this coin than meets the eye. Whether you're a seasoned numismatist or just curious about the coins lying in your drawers, this deep dive will give you everything you need to know about the 2011 10-cent coin, from its iconic design and mintage numbers, all the way to its potential dollar value in today's collector market. Let's begin with the design, a classic that has stood the test of time. The obverse, or the front of the coin, features the timeless portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, this time designed by Ian Rankbroadley. His portrait of the Queen has been used on Australian coins from 1999 through to 2018, and it presents Her Majesty in a more mature, realistic depiction than earlier versions. Her gaze is calm, regal, and dignified, a symbol of continuity across the Commonwealth nations. Flip the coin to the reverse, and you'll be greeted once again by the beautifully detailed lyrebird, one of Australia's most distinctive native animals. This design, created by master engraver Stuart Devlin, has appeared on all 10-cent coins since 1966. The lyrebird is shown in a proud pose with its ornate tail feathers curling elegantly, a representation not only of Australian wildlife, but also of the intricate artistry that goes into coin design. Now let's talk numbers. The Royal Australian Mint produced 83.6 million 10-cent coins in the year 2011. While that number may sound high, and indeed it places the coin firmly in the category of common circulation, condition and demand always play an important role in a coin's value. Coins that have been in circulation for years will often show signs of wear, including scratches, dull surfaces, and worn edges. In average circulated condition, the 2011 10-cent coin is generally worth only its face value, about $0. $10 americanos. But here's where things get interesting. If your coin has been well preserved and is in good condition, meaning the Queen's features are still sharp, the lettering is clean, and the lyrebird on the reverse side is still full of detail, it could be worth between $0.50 and $1 to the right buyer. Of course, coin collectors are always searching for pieces in the best possible condition, which brings us to the higher grades. A mint state or uncirculated 2011 10-cent coin, the kind that has never been used in day-to-day transactions, can command even more value. These coins are typically graded using a scale known as the Sheldon grading scale, and pieces graded at MS63 to MS66 can fetch anywhere from $2 to $6, depending on the quality and eye appeal. Some coins in perfect uncirculated condition, especially those with strong luster and no noticeable flaws, have been known to sell for as much as $10 or more, particularly when they're part of a complete date set or are housed in A collector's album or protective case. But wait, what about errors and varieties? While there are no widely reported rare minting errors for the 2011 10-cent coin, it's always worth checking your coin closely. A misstrike, doubling on the date or lettering, off-center strike, or any kind of die crack can make a coin significantly more valuable. Error coins often sell for $20, $50, or even higher, depending on their rarity and the interest from collectors. So, if you have a 2011 10-cent coin with something that looks out of the ordinary, hang on to it. And consider getting it appraised by a professional numismatist. One more thing to consider is the coin's relevance in modern collecting trends. While older coins tend to get more attention, newer coins, especially those in top condition, are becoming increasingly popular among young collectors, especially those building year sets or looking for error coins from the last few decades. The 2011 10-cent coin is a perfect candidate for this kind of collection, that it's still relatively easy to find in circulation, but finding one in pristine condition is becoming harder as the years go by. So, to wrap things up, while the 2011 Australian 10-cent coin may not be extremely rare, its value today can range anywhere from $0.10 to around $10, depending entirely on its condition, any errors it might have, and whether it's been professionally graded. It's an excellent example of how even modern circulating coins can have hidden value, and how keeping an eye on your change might just pay off. Whether you're a beginner collector or a seasoned hobbyist, the 2011 10-cent coin deserves a place in your collection, especially if you can find one in mint state condition. Next up, the 2017 Australian 10-cent coin. Now you might be thinking, it's just a 10-cent coin, right? But here's where it gets interesting. What if I told you that depending on its condition, rarity, and a few hidden features, this tiny coin could be worth significantly more than its face value, especially to collectors in today's market? So stay with me as we break it all down, from history and mintage to today's dollar value and future potential. Let's start at the beginning. The 10-cent coin has been a staple of Australia's decimal currency since its introduction in 1966, following the country's switch from pounds, shillings, and pence to a simplified decimal system. Since then, the 10-cent coin has retained the same reverse design, a beautifully detailed image of the superb lyrebird, an iconic Australian native known for its extravagant tail feathers and incredible ability to mimic natural and artificial sounds. The lyrebird, with its intricate plumage and distinctive stance, has become one of the most recognizable symbols on Australian coinage. The designer behind this stunning reverse image is Stuart Devlin, who was appointed goldsmith and jeweler to Her Majesty the Queen. Devlin's artistry shines through in the delicate lines and attention to detail in the lyrebird's feathers, and his work remains celebrated even today. His contributions to coinage design have influenced collectors and artists around the globe, and many enthusiasts still appreciate and seek out coins bearing his work. Now flip the coin to the obverse, and you'll find a portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Ian Rank Broadley. This version of the Queen's likeness was introduced in 1999 and was featured on Australian coins until 2018. Rank Broadley's design stands out because of its realism and the clear, strong features he chose to emphasize. His portrait portrays the Queen wearing the girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara, a common feature in royal iconography. And it's surrounded by the inscriptions Elizabeth II and Australia 2017. Now let's talk about the mintage figures, one of the most crucial factors when determining the potential value of a coin. In 2017, the Royal Australian Mint produced approximately 96 million 10-cent coins. That's a solid mintage, not extremely rare, but not excessively high either. Compared to years like 2006 or 2014, which saw over 80 million coins minted, 2017 appears moderate in terms of production. That said, the value of any coin doesn't rely on mintage numbers alone. Condition, demand, and even collector sentiment can influence the market price. So, how much is a 2017 Australian 10-cent coin actually worth today in USD? Well, the vast majority of 2017 coins still in circulation are considered circulated, and in that state. The value is typically just face value, around 10 cents USD. However, for coins in better condition, those that show minimal wear, maintain their luster, and have sharp details, values increase. A 2017 10-cent coin in extremely fine XF condition can sell for around $0. 50 to $1 US, while an uncirculated UNC example might bring in $2 to $4 US, especially if listed well online or sold at a collector's market. If you're lucky enough to have a mint state coin, particularly those graded MS63 or higher, you could be looking at values around $5 to $8 US. Coins with exceptional strike quality, no contact marks, and pristine surfaces can fetch even more, depending on the buyer. It's important to remember that modern coins in truly top condition are not always easy to find, as most are handled and circulated quickly. That's why mint condition pieces from recent years are increasingly desirable. Now here's where things get more exciting. Errors and varieties. While no major minting errors for the 2017 10-cent coin have been documented in large numbers, that doesn't mean you won't find one. Keep an eye out for common but valuable types of errors, like die cracks, cuds, double strikes, clip planchets, or off-center strikes. A significant error can boost a coin's value dramatically, sometimes reaching $20, $50, or even more, depending on rarity and eye appeal. Always inspect both sides carefully and consider using a magnifying lens for a closer look. Collectors are increasingly turning their attention to modern circulating coins, not just the old classics. Why? Because as time goes on, well-preserved examples of modern coins become harder to find. Circulated coins get scratched, worn down, or lost at SO when collectors come across coins from 2017 in brilliant uncirculated or proof-like condition, especially ones with strong strikes and no blemishes. They often choose to hold on to them, either as part of date runs or as long-term investments. Let's not forget about coin sets. The Royal Australian Mint released mint sets and proof sets in 2017 that include the 10-cent coin in pristine condition. These are often found in original packaging and can sell for a premium, especially if still sealed and untouched. If you have the 2017 10-cent coin from one of these sets, its value can be even higher than a loose, uncirculated coin, sometimes $10 or more, depending on demand and overall set condition. So what's the bottom line? The 2017 Australian 10-cent coin in average circulated condition might be worth about $0. 10 US, but coins in better shape, especially uncirculated or mint state examples, can bring in $1 to $8 US or more. Rare errors or coins from proof sets can push that value even higher. It's not just about what you have, it's about how well it's been preserved and how rare it is in top condition. To finish off, this coin may not be the rarest in Australian history, but its timeless design, moderate mintage, and increasing appeal among modern collectors make it a smart one to keep an eye on. So next time you're sorting through your change or flipping through a coin album, give that 2017 10-cent coin a second look. It just might be more than meets the eye. Thanks for watching. And if you enjoyed this in-depth breakdown, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss a video from our growing community of coin lovers. Let us know what condition it's in, or share your favorite coin hunting find. Until next time, happy collecting, and always keep looking. You never know when a small coin could lead to a big surprise.